Bills do that was so much better in this game than he did in Buffalo, taking away the turnovers?
Well, he going into the game, that was the most important thing for him, John. And from that point is what we were going to do offensively was obviously we started running the ball right away, and we gave him some throws like on the outside of the perimeter where he could feel things and see things better, and he did that early. And he just did what our game plan was to keep him comfortable. And once he got comfortable, he got really comfortable. And then we got in a good flow offensively, and he executed our offense perfectly for the first three drives that we had.
Did you see, like, if a guy hits a couple of those early throws, does the confidence grow that he can keep doing it?
There's no question. And I think the one throw that I feel like, and actually this happened with Tyrod earlier with Brandon Cooks, the one he threw to Chris Moore. I mean, the guy's covered, but he's outside the pocket, and he's giving a guy a chance to make the play. If there were any hesitation at all with him, he wouldn't have made that throw because he'd been thinking about an interception. But he knew, and we preach this all the time, give the guy a chance to make a play if it's one-on-one. He did that. Chris went up and made a play. We ended up getting a touchdown, and I think his confidence level went up from there. So he came back later on and did the same thing with a couple of other throws.
Will Tyrod come off IR this week?
I don't think so. Not really sure yet.
David, this is the third game that there were multiple special teams mistakes. How do you evaluate that now, and how do you fix it?
Well, the big thing was we got to play better from the standpoint of our guys doing the right things, especially, first and foremost, in our return game. We haven't gotten much out of our return game yet, and that's not just our returner. That's just with the guys doing the right things. We've moved some guys in and out of there doing that. We've still trying, just like we did on defense, trying to find the right combination of who the right guys are on those special teams, and we got to do a better job of doing that. Now, going back to the field goal and the extra points, I mean, he's our kicker. He missed them. He's got to make those. The punt thing. Initially, when the punt thing happened, I thought maybe it was penetration that got the punt blocked. He missed the punt. It wasn't penetration. He actually mishit the punt, and the punt went into one of our guys. So it wasn't a thing up front. It was just something where our guys, our kicker didn't do his job from the standpoint of being able to do those things, and then our punter did the same thing on the punt. I mean, it wasn't our special teams people not doing the right thing. We just didn't execute it. They didn't get the job, and he didn't make the kicks.
Was his distance, Cam, was he not far back?
No, it had nothing to do with the distance. He missed the kick. The kick went off the inside of his foot. When you look at it closely, the kick went off the inside of his foot. He did it in practice 3 times, and everything was perfect.
David, how impressed are you with how Davis put behind him what happened last week and was able to come back and have the kind of game that y'all were looking for him this week?
In order for us to have a chance to win every week when he's our quarterback, that's how he has to play. And he understood that. We had conversations all week about, look, don't worry about what happened in the past. We're going to have a game plan right here that's going to be very good and solid for you. Up front people are going to do their job. And yesterday, for the most part, they did their job. I think the first 4 series that we had the ball, we ended up getting scores. And basically, and then playing the game the way we really want to play the game, the first drive, I think we had the ball for 10 minutes. Guys made plays throughout that. We had 1 penalty during that time, but it wasn't a major penalty. I mean, it was a penalty that really didn't get us behind the chains, and then he came back and made some plays. And I thought on the 4th downs with him, when he made those throws on 4th down, that gave us so much more confidence with our offense, knowing that this guy right here can get it done for us.
Update on Laramie Tunsil. MRIs take some time, but are you concerned he may have to miss an extended amount of time?
Not real sure yet. We'll have to wait and see with exactly what the situation is on it. We don't know that yet right now.
Marcus Kane, obviously placed him on injured reserve, but do you think he'll play again this year? Do you think the back will calm down and he might be able to play again?
I hope he does, but it's a serious thing that he's got. He is a tough guy, and basically he probably could have played this week, but in order to keep him for the long haul and to make sure we get him through the season, if whatever we needed to do to get him right, we needed to do it now. And placing him on IR was the right thing to do for him in order to get him back later.
I asked you about that penalty that you accepted near the goal
I should have
line.
declined the penalty. If I had it to do over again, I would have declined the penalty.
When you were answering it, though, you mentioned that they passed, which helped you. What pass were you?
Well, it wasn't a pass. I was thinking there was a pass. What ended up happening is that during that time, I thought the clock got stopped, I had actually stopped the clock with a timeout. And then I had no more timeouts left at that point. And so, but again, if I had it to do over again, I would have allowed him to score. And then later on in that series, we had talked about allowing him to score. And one of the reasons we didn't allow him to score the second time that when they ran the ball is that this team had, I guess early in the year against Miami, they had fumbled a couple of times down in there. Their backs had some trouble holding on to the football. We had already got one punched out. And our defensive staff felt like, look, there's a possibility that we could get one punched out. We didn't get it punched out. And then, again, I should have allowed him to score, and I should not have.
So when you made the decision on the penalty, did you think you still had a timeout left?
No, I didn't know. I knew we didn't have a timeout left, but our defense, we felt like the next thing we could do was to be able to at least possibly get a fumble or get the ball punched out, and then that didn't happen.
So in that conversation there, you were speaking with Lovey, and they're saying they can get the turnover.
They felt like we could. As a matter of fact, on one of those runs, a guy almost ended up getting the ball pulled out. It wasn't pulled out. Their back did a good job of holding it, but we felt like that was a good chance for us to do that, and we didn't get that done.
5 games into the season, how would you self-evaluate yourself as the coach so far?
Well, we're 1-4. That's not what we expected. I got to do a better job of making sure on those kind of decisions that I put our football team in the best situation to have a chance to win. And yesterday, whether we would have had a chance or not, in order for us, the way our offense had played when we were doing things right, to give them more time to be able to have a chance at the end of the game to score a touchdown to win would have been the best thing to do for us.
David, in the past, the Texans were always slow starters and playing from behind. Now you guys are playing, starting fast, but you gave Field in the second half. What do you think of the reasons for that?
Well, again, I'm going to go back in the second half. We were doing okay right there until we had the punt block, which gave them a situation to a short field to be able to score. And then all of a sudden, we're moving the ball, and in that drive where we missed the field goal, we end up having a penalty right there that we overcame. But when we just got to, in those particular situations, just make sure that we stay above the chains. And again, I felt like we were fine, and I felt like this. When we attempted the field goal, I felt good about it. Again, I called a timeout right there because I was not going to go for it. But it was either going to be a punt or give him a chance to make a field goal. And at that time, we made the decision because Frank felt like that we were in his range. He had made one. He had made one. And we felt like that we give him a chance to make it and give us a 2-score game, and that didn't happen.
David, do you anticipate Danny Amendola, after having the week of practice last week, be able to be available this week for you guys to play?
We hope so. He was close this week, but by Friday, we felt like he needed to get another week to be able to get ready for us.
You talked about you can't have the penalties or special teams miscues. When you look at how this roster is built, does it feel at all like you almost have to be perfect to win a game?
I don't think we have to be perfect, but we have to be more consistent than what we've been. And when you're 1-4 and you look back and you see why those things happen, you look back and you want to say, was it the team you're playing? That hasn't been the case with us. It's been us. We've been the enemy sometimes. Just like yesterday, for example. A lot of those miscues that we had wasn't because of what they did. It was what we didn't do. And we've got to just get better and continue to do that. We were in a ball game yesterday that we could have very easily have won. And they made the play in the end to win the game, and we didn't put ourselves in a situation to do that. But I feel comfortable moving forward that we've just got to just keep becoming more consistent and not be the enemy.
David, you had Desmond King again at corner. How do you feel like he played there, and how the secondary is? Is this
I feel comfortable with where they are right now. We feel like that's the best group for us. Do we need to play better? Sure we do, but we feel like those guys are getting better and better and comfortable with each other. The communication is much better back there. We had some communications early in a couple of ball games. We haven't had that right now, and simply because we feel good about that.
Since Pep spent so much time with Mills, how much credit does he deserve for Mills' transformation during 1 week?
Well, I think our football team, more so than anything, with the way we play when we're playing well, would gives you a very good chance to be successful. And we know he's a very mature kid for a rookie. And Pep obviously had a rookie before he came here, a kid in the Chargers, and did a nice job with him knowing how to deal with a rookie quarterback. And his having had that experience with a guy like that has been very, very good with Davis, and as long as we keep playing well, I think Davis will keep getting better and better and better.
After what he showed you yesterday, what's the next step for Davis that you need to see?
Well, just to get us in the end zone when we need to get in that end zone a little more, you know. And I go back to, speaking of that, we were first and goal on the +2 yard line yesterday and got a chance to really put the game in a situation where we're really in control and have the momentum. And I'm going to go back to, again, you're talking about offensively about the inconsistency. We end up getting a false start. So we go back to the +7. There's a big difference from the +2 and the +7 first and goal. And then we go second and goal at the 7 to we get a sack, and then we move back. And that should have been 7 points for us, which will end up putting the game in a whole big different light for everybody, how they play us and how we play. And again, it goes with the inconsistency to what we're doing, and that can happen again. I'm going back to penalties. And again, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about all of this stuff had we did the things that we're supposed to do in those particular situations in that kind of ball game when it's that close.
Gruger Hill and Christian Kirksey played all of the snaps. Then you had some sub linebacker work for Zach. Zach's the guy that led the NFL in tackles last year. Where do you guys see Zach, just his status with the team, and kind of like his role going forward?
You know, his role has been for us on first and second down is where he's most comfortable. When we get into the nickel type situations, we feel like that the people that we bring in those particular situations fit us better in pass defense. But, he's been doing well since he's came back from the one game he didn't play. He's playing well. We need to be playing better. He's a heck of a player, and expect more out of him, and along with the other guys that's playing around him.
David, this is going back to the penalty. This is the second time you was talked about in hindsight. How do you absorb those as you're going on in the season, and how you go into other decisions in the season? How you taking those?
Well, you learn from those, and what we do on those situations too is we'll end up sitting down with our entire football team and our staff, and we'll watch those situations and say, okay, this is why I did this. This is what I should have done, and this is why we should have did this. And we learn from that as a team, and we hope that when we get in those situations again, we'll be prepared to do those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.